Folks, when things are dangerous, we need to stop talking about it in terms of Republican issue, Democrat issue, liberal issue. It's not a partisan thing. What we need to do is just call dangerous things dangerous things. And when it came to that RFK hearing that I was observing and RFK's backgrounds and the fact that Donald Trump appointed RFK Jr. to become the head of the HHS, Health and Human Services, that is dangerous, period. And I've been getting so much feedback from people that I know, prominent doctors, prominent surgeons, who don't talk to me about politics. And I don't know what their politics are. I don't know if they're Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians. I don't know. But I've been getting this feedback. And so one of my close friends is a doctor in the area where I'm from. His name is Dr. Teo Soleymani, and Dr. Soleymani is a double board certified surgeon. He and I were having coffee the other day. As I said, we live near each other, and he was saying, Ben, can I just talk about RFK Jr. for a second? And I said, Dr. Soleymani, you never talked to me about politics before. He goes, I just got to let you know, this guy is so dangerous, and anyone who is really worth their degree in the medical profession that I'm speaking to is saying, red alert, red alert, red alert. And I think that I have a duty to warn as well, you know, with the platform that I have. So I said, Dr. Soleymani, why don't you come on the show? Why don't you, we're chatting about this over a cup of coffee. Why don't you tell the people how you feel about these issues as a double board certified surgeon? So let's bring him on. Dr. Teo Soleymani, you don't go on political shows. You don't offer political opinions. You're a doctor. You have a prominent dermatology practice in the area. That's what you do. So what made you want to come on and talk about this?
I appreciate you having me on, Ben. It's been a while. So I think one of the nicest things that I've always adored about medicine is it has no partisanship. It doesn't recognize color, gender, ethnicity. Medicine is one of the last frontiers in anything we do in society, which we just care for human beings. And that's always been my draw to medicine. I think there are so many dangerous things that are happening right now with this potential appointment. I mean, from the vaccine issue, which is forefront and forefacing, it's the frontline issue, but so many things like just misunderstanding the difference between Medicaid and Medicare, not understanding how healthcare systems work, not understanding who pays for what system it's mind-boggling that this can be a person that would be put to lead the ship in an already dysfunctional government and healthcare system. I mean, as a physician who trained on both the East Coast and West Coast at some, fortunately, really, really amazing institutions, I've seen the devastation of what diseases that we've eradicated in the United States now have caused for so many patients. I still have a couple patients today in Los Angeles that are in their late 80s who have been wheelchair bound, for example, since childhood because they got polio. I mean, the last time we had polio, for example, in the United States was 1979 when we eradicated it with the vaccine. And only recently we had a case come back in 2022. The thought that we're going to go back to the dark ages because vaccines are just something you don't agree with is absolutely horrifying. And the ironic part of all of that is that RFK's kids are all vaccinated. So I think it's very serendipitous that now is the time that he doesn't like it. And I think he's trying to backtrack a little bit because he realizes the dangers of what he's saying. I mean, for heaven's sake, I can't remember the last time measles became a problem, but now it's resurging because people think, oh, well, the flavor of the month is we're not going to vaccinate. But unfortunately, you can't feel that way because you haven't seen the devastation, the deaths, the paralyzation that occurs with these illnesses that we fought so hard to eradicate.
And when you're seeing things like measles start to emerge again, it's because people are tuning into whatever their digital echo chamber is that's telling them some of this crazy stuff. And they're seeing RFK Jr. clips go viral where he says things like, I'll show you this one right here. This is him on Russian TV, because that's where he would spread these views, because Russia knew what it was doing. They knew that if they spread disinformation, they could harm Americans here with the lies, and they wouldn't even have to fire a bullet. They could just spread diseases and kill people. So here's what RFK Jr. said on the Russian TV, where he claimed that the WHO, which, by the way, the United States now pulled out of, or like the only nation not in the WHO, that the WHO fabricated pandemics like the swine flu and H1N1. Here, let's play this.
The World Health Organization, that's really a misnomer. The World Health Organization is even more captured than CDC is. The World Health Organization gets half of its budget from industry. It is absolutely controlled from top to bottom by the pharmaceutical companies, and particularly the vaccine makers, who use WHO to, fabricate pandemics like the swine flu, like the H1N1, and make billions of dollars on pandemics that never happen.
I mean, how is that not disqualified?
I mean, it's surreal. I think there's so many problems to this. This is the same person that claimed that COVID was genetically modified not to target Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese populations, but only to target certain other populations. I can't make this stuff up. One of the, I ran clinical trials in New York City for several different, both industry sponsored and investigator initiated phase 1, 2, and 3 studies. And I just think people don't really realize the amount of work and time and data that it is needed to be collected to make sure that the medicines that you are receiving don't have the consequences. The United States holds our prescription medications at a higher standard than pretty much anywhere else in the world. And it's easy to fearmonger when you haven't gone through it yourself or haven't seen what it takes from start to finish to get a vaccine or a prescription medication out to the population. So what's happening, unfortunately, is because people aren't seeing the first line consequences of these illnesses anymore, they forget what the repercussions are should we not have these vaccines or medications. I had a young kid who had spinal cord degeneration from measles when I was in training, and I will never forget that family's face because this was a vaccine preventable illness. The iron lung, which took over the United States in the 50s and 60s when patients were getting polio. People forget this easily, so it's you can very quickly become a fair weather physician through some Google and Reddit blogs. But if this happens, America's in a very, very bad place.
So let me leave it with this. What's your final message right now to Republican senators, Democratic senators, independent senators? The Senate has heard RFK. There were 2 days of confirmation hearings. They asked him a lot of questions. On prior videos that we did, we showed they got a lot of I don't knows, as you said in the beginning of this interview. He didn't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. He didn't know Part A, Part B, Part C, he didn't know any of that. And then his other ideas were outright dangerous. But you don't do politics. You're a doctor. You do surgeries. But you wanted to speak out. So what's your message to them as someone on the front lines? What do you want the Senate to know before they do their deliberations and ultimately take this vote?
I think there's a few important things. I think the thing that I can beg for is please don't weaponize medicine in the United States. It's the last frontier in which there is no partisanship. Everybody is viewed equally. We have the same heart, the same brain, the same skin, the same organs. So please, please, please don't weaponize medicine into your political agenda. What I would like to see is somebody at the helm who's had real life experiences in patient care, real life experiences dealing with the challenges of insurance companies and federal red tape, and somebody who's seen the devastation of diseases that we fought half a century to a century to eradicate. I don't think somebody should be picked based on how much you like them or how many clicks or views they get on whatever platform they're on. I think that's what drove me to medicine, is I can care for anybody under the sun. We all, breathe and bleed the same way. So please don't put this guy up there.
Dr. Teo Soleymani, thank you for joining us. We'll grab a coffee again soon, but after our last drink, I had to be like, let's let everybody know this, because if I could tell people what you were saying to me, but I thought it was important that they hear from you. And, we deliver this message to, those in the Senate. People watch this. So thank you so much.
Anytime. I rarely, politics is not in my forte, but I think this is one that is too important to, my kids, your kids, our parents, our generation. This changes a lot of the direction of healthcare and medicine in the United States, and it's hard not to speak up about it.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody, hit subscribe and let's get to 4 million subscribers. Have a good one.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.